energy is everywhere. It is just like an ocean that we are swimming in it. But sometimes we block ourselves from that type of energy. It's just like a consciousness, and you can connect with that consciousness. As soon as you connect with that consciousness, something magical happens.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'd like to welcome today's guest, Mr. Farzan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'm truly excited to talk to you. I think it's a very important topic. But first, tell us a little bit about what you do.
So, I'm a holistic health practitioner. It means that I don't see the problem just in the physical or emotional or mental level. They're combined together. Everything that we are experiencing is a mixture of all of those. So that is my specialty. And I also align people with their goals because nowadays we try to do a lot of things all together. And if we are not aligned, it is like a car that the wheels are not aligned, you get the burnout. So the tires burn out fast. That the same thing happens to us. If we don't be aligned with our subconscious mind, with our heart desire, with our emotions, and with our inspired actions, what happens is that on the path of success, we get burned out. And that is the topic that I want to share some wisdom with the viewers. Yeah.
For sure. So let's dive into that. So I know you talk about the three types of stagnation and the three types of success. So what are the three types of stagnation?
So stagnation is basically what makes you stuck. You get stuck in life for it may be any reason. So sometimes the way that you're stuck is that you don't even want to get out of bed because you are facing some major problems, some big changes in your life. And then you don't like to get out of bed. And when you're in that state, I call it the static stagnation. And there is another way of the static stagnation. When you are on your comfort zone and you are not moving along out of that, and you stay in that position for a long time. So it is a static stagnation. You're not moving. And then the other type of stagnation that based on whatever I brought in my book, it is called dynamic stagnation. Dynamic stagnation is a little bit different. You're moving, you're going to work and do your job. Now you're coming back home and you're repeating that process again and again. It's a never ending loop. So you are moving along, but you're getting nowhere. So it is, I call dynamic stagnation. And there is another type of stagnation, which I call inner stagnation. So inner stagnation is a little bit different. Inner stagnation is when you have everything perfect on the outside. You're successful, you have all the possessions that you were looking for, and whatever that society promised you as the sign of success you have, and everybody's admiring you for your achievements. On the inside, you're not happy, or there's some other problems, maybe relationship problems or health problems. So on the outside, everything's perfect, but on the inside, things are not the way you want to be. So I call that inner stagnation. There are a lot of people who, high achievers, executives, entrepreneurs, they go through the path of success and they reach their goal, but they are tired out and they are not happy and they have health issues, relationship issues. And it's very common these days.
Mm. Interesting. I feel like when we look at static, dynamic, and inner stagnation, a lot of people can relate to, if not all of them, individual pieces. I know that I feel like when you're first starting off with wanting to pursue an idea or pursue a particular goal, you have a stagnation because it might be difficult for you to even get started, to get out of bed, to find that energy. And then when you're in that process, you're in the grind, quote unquote grind, right? So you have that dynamic stagnation because then you're doing so much work, but things aren't really flowing. Things aren't really moving. But then when we get to the end of that road and we actually start to see that success, a lot of people find that the materialism that they were seeking didn't really do much for their soul and their spirit.
Exactly. Yeah, that is people experience in their life. Because sometimes when we look at our childhood, we were happy, we were playful, playing in the playground with the other kids and no responsibility, and everything was provided by our parents or caregivers. And we were happy entities. But what happened was that we went to school, and then in the school, there's a big shock. You have to sit down straight and you have to listen to the teacher and you have to do some homework and you get pushed around in the yard. And then you start building a guard because you feel that you have to protect yourself. You feel that life is not friendly anymore the way that it was before. So life is hostile, that I have to be on my toes all the time to protect myself. So you build that guard and then you go to the life with that guard. Your relationships is aff- affected by that guard and everything else, your happiness, everything is affected. And then you go through life and society promises you that if you go to school and get good grades and then graduate, go to the university, get a degree, and start working in a job, something that's reliable, bring income, you're going to be happy. They give you that promise. Some people take that role, and then it leads to dynamic stagnation. And some people lead to another road, which is they say that no, I don't want to be told what to do. I just want to do whatever I want. So I'm going to go through life on a different path. That is the path of entrepreneurship. I go and build a business and do something for myself. And almost every person who is a motivational speaker has told us about the hustle and grind that we have to face. They say that you have to get out of your comfort zone, never give up, those kind of things. So they encourage us to go and go through the battle in that path. So what happens is that we take that road, we go through that battle, but it is not an easy path because you have to deal with a lot of things. One of them is your subconscious mind and the programmings you had before. So we can just open that discussion and give a little bit more light to it because I feel that is something that a lot of us need to just know about.
Yeah, definitely. So how do we take a person who, let's start with static, move to dynamic and then internal, but how do we take a person and work through their subconscious so they can work out of that they're maybe feeling?
So that's a good question. So for answering that, I'm going to go through the three levels of success that I told you before. So we want to get out of stagnation. So you think about the success. How can we move out of that stagnation and move forward in life? So we all think about it. And then we see that some people just blame others for their mistakes. So that is victim consciousness. They say that if I'm not successful, it is because of that and this. And they don't take the responsibility. They just want to blame everybody for their failures. And but sometimes they get lucky. And For example, somebody who is winning the lottery or getting a big inheritance without expecting it. So all of a sudden, a lot of money comes to a life. But the statistics shows that when people are in that stage, it doesn't match with their image, the self-image that they have. So after a couple of years, what happens is that a lot of them lose whatever they had. And a lot of them feel that they are not as happy as before. So we do self-sabotage. We do things, stupid things, and lose a lot of money to get back to the state that we were before. So that is, to me, three-dimensional success. And three-dimensional success is accidental success or random success. So it is not stable. We're not ready for it. Second type of success is like what I call hurtful success or growingful success. As we discussed before, we are promised that if we grind, if we just go forward to whatever, to achieve whatever we want, we're going to have that kind of success that we are looking for. So even if we be able to just go through the battle and win, there are lots of scars. And there is a reason for that, because we have a big battle to win. So imagine a train that is going south, and you are in a train, and you decide that I'm going to go move north instead of south. What happens? You walk in the train towards north. Where do you end up? South, of course, because the train is going south. Even if you move in the train towards north, you're going south. So our conscious mind is like the person who's moving north. What the train is, our subconscious mind is moving south. So that determines the direction that we are moving. So what is subconscious? It is all the programmings that we had, all the beliefs, all the emotions, all the images, the self-images, or whatever that has brought us to here, to this point. So if you want to change something now, you have to change the direction of that train, which is not easy. So we have a big battle to win. It is not easy. Even if we be able to do that, we're going to have wounds and scars all over the place. And when we reach our goal, we notice that our health is deteriorating, our emotions or relationships are not the way as before. And of course, we're not happy as we expected that we get a big win and get to that. So I call that growingful success or hurtful success. And a lot of us don't even know that there is another way. There are other things that we can do to move along easier and faster. So what is the third type of success? The third type of success, to me, it is called playful success, hurtful success. So it's a little bit different. When you're aligned, what happens when the tires, wheels of a car are aligned, move smoothly. But when it's not aligned, the tires burn out fast. So the same thing happens to us. If our conscious mind and our subconscious mind are aligned, we are moving in the same direction. So it's much easier. What about our heart? Our heart should be in it too, because it is important to have the true desires satisfied when you are moving along in the road of success. It is not just what your brain dictates, because a lot of that is programming. We have to have our heart into it as well. So our hearts should be on board as well. And then the next step is the actions. But the actions should be inspired actions, not just any action, any random action. It has to be something that is two specific qualities, with two specific qualities. One, is it has to be joyful action, something that you enjoy doing. And the second is that it has to be needle moving action. It is helping you to move forward towards the direction that you want to go. So when everything is combined together, then everything is different. It's like it being in a river that is going to the ocean of opportunities. Instead of climbing the mountain with hardship to just go to the top. So there's a difference between the two, the hurtful success and the playful success.
Interesting. So the playful success is really the type of success that most of us are looking for, right? Because that one doesn't lead to burnout or as much burnout as the other two.
Exactly. And the beauty of that is that if you be able to achieve that playful success, you're enjoying the journey as well.
Mhm.
But if you are in the hurtful success, what happens is that you are just looking at your goal. So the definition of success changes. I believe that when you change your definition, your life changes. I give you a couple of examples. So one of the things that I just told you about was our perspective towards life. If we say that life is friendly, whatever happens, it is for my good. It is like a friend is doing something for me. Even if I don't know why it is happening, what is the reason behind it, I know that it's a gift from the friend. So I accept it. So that is one perspective. The other perspective is life is hostile. I have to be on my toes all the time, protect myself from harm, and everybody can come over from the back, from the side, and hurt me in any situation. So those are two definitions about life. So which one do you take? Because it determines how happy you are in life. So change your definition, change your life. It's as simple as that. And the other one that is good to know is the definition of success. If our definition of success is reaching our goal, we are in distress all the time because we are not successful until we reach our goal. The moment that we reach our goal, in that moment, we call ourselves successful. But the other times, when we are moving towards that goal, we don't call ourselves successful. So if our definition is reaching our goal, we are wasting our life.
Mm.
Because how many times you experience those little moments that you achieve your goal, and then right after, if you don't move forward, you get to the stagnation again. So you have to define another goal and go through the hustle and grind again and again. So it's a never-ending loop. But if you change your definition of success to moving towards a worthy goal with joy, what happens? You are, as long as you're moving towards your goal, you're successful. So you're successful most of the time in your life. So that definition changes everything. Change your definition, change your life. So that's the matter of choice. The measure that I have is practicality. If something is practical, I take it. So my advice in here is to choose your definitions.
Mm.
And if it works for you, take it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't do anything for you, just leave that advice. Just do something else. But if it helps you, choose your definitions based on whatever that helps you, nothing else. Whatever other people say might not apply to you. Whatever you choose as a definition that can help you along the way, if you just take that, it's much worth it. It changes everything.
Wow, that's amazing, honestly. I love the idea of the only thing that really separates you from, I would say, continuous success and momentary success is, like you said, the process of enjoying that journey. Just your definition of success being the fact that you're taking one step forward every day, being the fact that you're on the journey continuously moving towards your goal. Because like you said, if your goal every single time is what you define as success, then you only have momentary success like periodically throughout your life. But
Mm.
if your entire journey is how you define success, as long as you're moving forward towards that goal, you're continuously walking in joy. You're continuously walking in happiness. And then that allows for you to be more receptive to the things around you.
Exactly. So that is based on my experience in life. I had a couple of moments that changed the direction of my life. The first one was when I injured my back about more than 20 years ago at work. I carried that pain for about 15 years. And so every week I had to go to therapy to get my shoulder that was frozen to just relieve, and I would be able to just do the things that normally every person does. Otherwise, I would get frozen shoulders every week. So it was a long process, and nobody could do anything about it. And all the specialist treatment, the medication, the MRI tests, they didn't show me anything. And I didn't know what was the reason for that. So I was in a distressful situation. And then one of my friends, when I was talking to her, she said, maybe I can help you. I was suspicious at first because I was seeking a lot of help by the specialist. Nobody could help me. She said, I'm going to give you a phone call, a couple of phone calls. She called me and she started a process that I couldn't understand at the time. She said that I'm going to release the emotional blocks that you were carrying all the time from that time of accident related to the pain that you have. So she released those trapped emotions that I was carrying. And I was fine, but I was expecting to get frozen shoulder again a week after, but it never came back. It was gone. So I was amazed at how just a couple of phone calls had that effect. And it changed the direction of my life because she said that you have the talent to do that as well for other people. So I went through certifications and became an code practitioner and started helping people. And I noticed a lot of changes in them because a lot of things that we face, chronic problems, chronic pain, or whatever you're facing that is taking long time to cure, it is usually has something to do with trapped emotions and those sorts of things, or our beliefs. And as I started developing some other techniques and modalities to help people as well. So it changed the direction of my life from an analytical engineer who was just doing the things that believed that is based on science or something like that. I went to a different type of science, which was the quantum physics and those kind of things. And then I started helping people through that path. So it changed my life. Something that was hurtful at the moment, it showed up as the best thing that could happen to me, that accident that I had at job. So I concluded that life is my friend. Even if something happens that I don't know at the time that is good for me, I'll figure it out later. What is the reason? The same thing happened when I fell down a couple of years ago as I was skiing and I broke my shoulder. That was a scapula, the big bone in the shoulder. I broke it. And the doctor said, the surgeon said, I've seen this kind of fracture only in car accidents. And it was not a major accident like I had. It was just on the flat surface. Nobody was around. And I'm a good skier as well. I don't know what happened. It was like getting hit by a lightning. I was flat on the ground all of a sudden with no reason. And then I knew that is another gift wrapped in an ugly paper. So I knew there is something in it. So what happened was I couldn't move my left arm and I was facing a lot of pain, a lot of painkillers I had to take to be able to sleep at nights. And even with all those, every movement, because they couldn't cast it, it had to be cured by itself. So every movement I had, I would cry with my pain. So I was facing a lot of pain. So I said that I can't use my left arm, but I still can use my right arm. So I started writing the book that was overdue for a long time. So I started writing it. As soon as I put the pen on the paper, something magical happens. I would forget about time and space. I would write and write for 12 hours, 14 hours, and then the next day again and again. And I would forget about even the pain. So that was joyful because I didn't take the painkillers. I would write instead of painkiller. So what happened was after a couple of weeks, I had a big manuscript and I sent it to my publisher. They said, it's too much. We cannot publish that. You had to cut it in half. So I cut whatever I wrote in half to be able to publish my book. And it is interesting because I experienced something people were talking about. I knew about it. It's the state of flow. It's a state of being in the zone and you forget about time and space and you're so focused about whatever you're doing and you do something that you don't even expect from yourself. So I was writing things that was even strange to me. So sometimes I use my book as a reference too. I just go to a specific page and because the information was coming and I was writing it down. It's very interesting process. So I had the blessing of experiencing that flow state through that accident that I had, the broken shoulder. So it was a big gift wrapped in the ugly paper.
Wow. So you mentioned a lot there. So we talked about quantum physics. You said that you were a electrical engineer. You do the emotion code. You talked about being in a state of flow. So as a person who has a background in electricity and engineering, how would you explain energy work and healing?
So my background was mechanical engineering and energy engineering actually. But when I came to the field of energy medicine, I noticed that energy is everywhere. It is just like an ocean that we are swimming in it. But sometimes we block ourselves from that type of energy. It's just like a consciousness, and you can connect with that consciousness. As soon as you connect with that consciousness, something magical happens. And we have the capacity to connect that consciousness. If we be in the state to recognize that, it's a very valuable experience. And it is not hard to experience it. Sometimes I give this exercise to people. I tell them to just bring your hands together, close together, hold it like this. And after a while, they feel some type of warmness and some type of pressure in their hand. The hand gets heavier and heavier. That is the energy that is all over the place, everywhere, and in our body as well. But sometimes that energy gets blocked by trapped emotions, by different things. And there are ways to just relieve those blockages. And sometimes we feel that it is hard to battle with our subconscious mind. So I'm going to give a technique to the viewers so they can use it in their life because it's not that hard. It's playful. So it's supposed to be playful and enjoying the experience. So we're going to just have something in here. So you want to experience moving towards a goal. So every goal, if you break it down to smaller elements, there are some actions that need to be taken towards that goal. And when we break down those actions, the needle moving actions, we can find those, whatever goal, if it's a fitness goal, a health goal, a relationship goal, a success, or whatever you want to have. It's, there's a big picture and there are small elements that help you to move towards that goal. But the problem is that when we want to take those actions, because we just take them as something that we have to do, sometimes we are not ready for it. But I'm going to give you something. You can change the label. Instead of task that you have to do, just consider that as a game, as a play that you do towards that game. Because it changes, it shifts everything, it shifts our energy. When we play the game, you're happy and you're going for it. We are in the game. So imagine that you are in the game, just playing those little things, needle moving games, not the moving actions that creates resistance. And then we have to prepare ourselves. So there's 3 steps. In my book, I have a process which is joyful fixed constructive cycle, JCC game, a 10-step process. I'm going to give you 3 steps, the summarize of that, so it's easier. So the 3 step is, the first one is game plan. So what you do is, before you go to sleep, you just bring those games, little games in your mind, and then plan to do one of those games for the next day. And then you sleep on it. What it means is that before you go to sleep, your subconscious mind is wide open. You can put whatever you want in it. What we usually do is that all the worries, all the fears, all the anxieties, everything, all the failures, we just review them before we go to sleep. And we're enforcing them more and more in our life. So change it. We can change it. Instead of bringing those into the bucket, you just bring those games that you want to play. You just think about the games that you want to play the next day, the little games that moves you forward. So pick one of those and repeat that sentence, that I'm gonna play that game tomorrow. I'm gonna play that game tomorrow. And then your alpha state before you go to sleep helps you to just absorb that in your subconscious mind. And then what happened is that when you wake up in the morning, before you had that game plan the day after, the night after, you're fresh. That memory is fresh. Before you even open your eyes, before you get out of your bed and put your foot on the floor, before that, as you are laying down, do the second part, which is warm up. In every game, we need the warm up first. We don't go directly to the game. We have to warm up ourselves. What is the warm up? It's a mental rehearsal. You imagine that you're playing the game during the day and you're happy and you're enjoying the play and you are on the podium because you won and you are happy for your achievements and all those moments. Just take yourself to that moment and enjoy it. That's the warm up. It's very simple. And then what happens is, if you do the game plan and the warm up properly during the day, somehow you are forced to play that game because it is in your subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is receptive before you go to sleep and after you just wake up. Those golden moments, and you use those 2 golden moments to program your subconscious mind. So during the day, the train is moving towards your goal and you are riding on it and you're moving along with it. So you're enjoying the ride and you're playing the game. So The third process is just playing. So three stages. One is the game plan. The second one is the warm up, and the third one is playing. It's very easy.
Wow. So for people who wake up in the morning, and a lot of people wake up in almost a groggy state and they don't really have really a lot of control over their mental faculties, how do you suggest they play out this game when they first wake up if their own minds have not really taken hold of this reality yet?
Mm. Based on my experience and other people that I work with, if you do the preparation before you go to sleep, you don't have any choice because it's very fresh. And sometimes you feel that there is no time between last night when were planning that and now that I'm off. There's no time between. So fresh, so fresh. The reason that we get out of bed and we are not in the good mood and stuff because we expose ourselves to a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of pressure, a lot of blaming ourselves, a lot of shame, and a lot of guilt. Before we go to sleep, we build up all those things. And then what do you expect in the morning? Of course, you're heavy. Of course, we are not feeling good because we programmed our mind that way.
Mm,
But when we start to change it, better results.
interesting. Do you find that people who are watching like a television program or on their phone and scrolling and things like that before bed tend to have more anxiety and then have more difficulty with visualizing their goals?
Yeah, of course, it affects you. But you probably are familiar with the EMF, electromagnetic field, and the effects that it has. And one of the big sources of the EMF is our phone. So it affects the energy field that we have. So we have to just be ready for whatever we are. So when we want to go to bed or when we wake up in the morning, there are ways that can shift our consciousness and raise our vibration. And we can choose to do those kind of things.
Mm,
And they are not that complicated, like contemplation or meditation and those. If we start practicing those before we go to sleep and when we wake up, we feel much better than before. It is like being energized
mm,
because we deplete, but so during the day, all the things that you're facing, all the dilemma, all the problems, they just drain us with that from that energy that we have. So we don't have anything left. The tank is empty. So we have to fill that tank. How do we fill that tank? It is not that difficult. We have to have our moments. We have to have those kind of quietness that we need. So we are filled again. We are ready to just go to ups and downs of life.
interesting. So you mentioned EMFs and electromagnetic frequencies and fields. So do you have a way or any ideas on how people can block that? Because most people can't have a copper Faraday cage around their bed.
Yep. So I personally use some things to block that and the EMF to just normalize the EMF. And there is something I don't know if you might be familiar with that. There is a specific stone which is called shungite, and shungite has the specific attributes. It is the only stone that you can use to when you have your phone, you want to go to the next page, you use your finger, right? So if you use a piece of the stone, it doesn't work. It doesn't go to the next page. But if you use the shungite, it goes to the next page. It has a specific attributes. And one of the attributes is that it blocks the EMF.
Hmm.
And I always carry a piece of shungite with myself. For example, I had just this one that's pure shungite in my pocket. I always carry something like that to protect myself from EMF.
Interesting. It's funny, I actually have a whole box of crystals and stones behind me, and there is some
Mhm.
shungite in there. But that's about all the time that we have for today. Is there anything else that you would like to leave with the audience before we go?
Sure. What I can do is that sometimes we don't know which direction we should go that is aligned with our heart or our destiny. So I want to give you another thing in here. So sometimes the repetitive things that happen to our life, they are the messages that we receive. So if there is a repeated pattern in your life, it might be your relationship, it might be your finances, your health, or whatever, your happiness, something is repeating itself. It means that we have to pay attention to that. And sometimes it's not easy. So we have to have an assessment tool to be able to see what should be the center of our focus. So I created a quiz for people so they can find out what is their priority right now in their life. So if they go to joyfulfix.com/quiz, they can take that quiz. It's joyfulfix.com. Joyful Fix is the name of my website, the name of my book. And also, I put a quiz in there for the viewers. So it's a free quiz. They can go and it's life quality assessments. So there are 20 questions. They can answer those questions and it gives them a score based on the answers they provided. And they can go from there because that is a good indicator that which direction I should take in life to get the better results. So it's joyful fix.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Farzan, for coming on. And I truly appreciate this conversation about energy and electrical work and the stages of stagnation and different types of success. Definitely gonna do a lot of meditation on that. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this episode of Playing in Soup. And I hope you all have a wonderful and blessed rest of your day. Have
Thank
a
you.
great
Thank
one.
you for
Great.
having me on.
Thank you. And bye, everyone.